Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight. I am Peter, and joining me as always is Tim.
Yellow.
Green. I thought we were naming colours. You said yellow.
You just don't know how the hip kids say how they do greetings.
I'll admit it was a bit of a dad joke, but you know, you could throw me a bone. You could throw me a bone when I try to start the show off with some humour. Hey everyone, we talk about horror movies on this show, and in this episode we are going to talk about a film called The Cleaning Lady.
It is funny, I hadn't thought about this in a while, but like we like my family was like middle class, I guess. Like we weren't rich by any means, but like, you know, we were okay, and we did have like a cleaning lady that came by on like Saturdays for like maybe 1 or 2 months, but it was very weird because like we would always have to clean up before the cleaning lady came. Like my mom, you know, because she would be like, oh, like, you know, it's embarrassing if they come and the house is all messy and stuff, so you have to but it was like such a like, well, what's the point of having a cleaning lady if we're just cleaning up before she comes over?
Yeah, that's a bit silly. I never had a cleaning lady in the house. Very much working class family. Thank you very much. No cleaning ladies. Yeah, so we'll talk about cleaning lady. We'll start spoiler free as we always do. We'll give you a warning before we get into spoilers. It's somewhere in the middle. This is a you know, a newish film. Festivals last year, but mostly a 2019 release for the most part, and meaning that it will be eligible when we get to our end of year awards, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh, well, start clearing out room at the top.
So, yeah, what's Cleaning Lady about? Cleaning Lady is about a weird cleaning lady who begins to have a kind of creepy relationship with this woman named Alice who lives alone in an apartment, and she's going through a kind of a weird relationship where she's dating a married man and is going to a self-help group called Lovers Obsessed or something like that, I think it was called.
I'm not sure. I think I missed it. Yeah. So I couldn't figure out at first what exactly this group was for.
I think it's like people who are all in like weird or people who all know they should get out of the relationships they're in but don't have the strength to, so they have sponsors. I've never heard of this particular type of self-help group. I've heard of a lot of self-help groups, but this one was a new one to me, I have to say.
Well, I gotta see if it's real because I could probably use that.
Tim's poor wife is the butt of so many jokes.
I wasn't talking about my wife, genius.
Oh, how dare you! How dare you! I have made you a happy man. Thank you very much. I will not hear this. How dare you? This is so it's a movie about this obsessive relationship that this cleaning lady named Shelley begins to have. There's also flashbacks to Shelley's past. Shelley's a scarred character, and I mean that literally. She's a scarred face from an accident in her youth.
Scarface.
But not Scarface, yes. And she begins. So Alice is kind of nice and reaches out to her, try to make a new friend, and it goes to obsessive and disturbing places. So
you
that's
think we'll ever see Scarface in a Batman movie, a live-action Batman movie?
I don't think it'll be the Matt Reeves trilogy we're about to get. I feel like maybe someday. I don't think it'll be in that one. I'd be surprised.
Okay. I feel like what I like about Spider-Man is I feel like they have an edict when they do the movies where it's like, all right, we got to use someone we haven't used before. Even if it's just like, well, I guess we got to use Mysterio, then it's like fine. But I feel like the Batman movies are like, yeah, we'll just keep using Joker, keep using Two-Face.
Hey, to be fair,
get Scarface in there.
Oh, Two-Face has been I was going to say Two-Face has only been one movie, but what can I say? I'm forgetting about Batman Forever. I'm so sorry.
How could you forget?
Riddle me this. So yes. Yeah, not great movie. It's boiling acid. That's that one line of dialogue that's always stuck in my head from that movie. Is that security guard at the start who's afraid of the acid?
Well, there's some acid in this movie, actually.
There is actually. You're right. There is some acid. We'll get to that in spoilers, though.
Sorry, I spoiled that there's acid.
Have you been watching Chernobyl, Tim? Did you check out that?
No, I heard it's really good.
It is really good. It's really good. It just kind of popped in my head because there's no acid in Chernobyl. You know, it's radiation, but it was just everything in like movies and TV now that's supposed to be dangerous feels like nothing because after Chernobyl, like it's not radiation. It's not as bad. Being burned alive is a piece of cake compared to radiation poisoning. I'm not hearing it. Anyway. So that was the movie. So I'll ask Tim the question that I always do.
Yeah.
Timothy Vergilish Chow.
Yes.
Did you enjoy The Cleaning Lady?
No, not really. It's not the worst thing ever, I guess. Like it's it's one of those like watchable movies where I wasn't clawing my eyes out for it to be over. Like and I will say if you're if you're one of the people that really likes like disturbing stuff, there's definitely some disturbing shit in this movie. But it just feels very it doesn't feel like thought out at all. Like I think it's like a little hard to talk about it without spoilers, but like I really couldn't figure out what Shelley's motivations were, like what exactly she wants to do with these other characters and stuff. It seems like it's just kind of like, I don't know. I
think I have an answer.
Well thought out.
I think I have an answer when we get to spoilers, but it is very thin. So I mean,
okay.
It is.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but oh my god, I really hated like the awkwardness of this movie.
Okay.
Because like there's so many scenes between like Alice and Shelley where she's trying to talk to her and she's just kind of like being very quiet and just being like giving these really weird cryptic answers. And I guess congrats to Alice for maybe being the nicest person in the world, because I feel like any other person would be like, wow, you are super weird. I want you out of my life as soon as possible. Like, which, and I guess like you're supposed to feel sympathy because, she's disfigured and everything, which is, totally fair. But, the way she acts is super weird and a lot of red flags to be like, hey, this person, there's something wrong with them. I don't know. It's but it's overall, I don't think it's a very good movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a similar boat. I don't think it's a bad movie per se. Like I feel like there's a lot of movies we come into, and I'm kind of like, this, that. I think this was fairly watchable. One of the things that I was concerned about when I saw the trailer actually was the acting, and I do think some of the acting is a bit rough. I think. Yeah. I think like Alice, her boyfriend, quote unquote Michael, like some of the acting's just a little bit. It feels like I feel like we're in this era, right, where there's this almost a new class of movie, which is because once upon a time we had theater movies and we had direct to video. And direct to video, we would usually have cheesier acting, but it would still kind of feel like it still feel like a performance in some way. I feel like ever since the dawn of like digital like recording and the internet, there's these like low budget movies where it's just actors who have no charisma. And and I was kind of feeling that like as I was watching some of the actors in this movie where. And I don't necessarily think it's always their fault. Like I think direction plays a part in this, like for sure. Definitely. But like I was getting this vibe of like just not really buying. Like I felt like I was watching someone trying to act as opposed to actually being engrossed in the performance or just like it's one of those things where I don't want to notice it. If I notice it, then something's wrong. If I don't notice it, then they're doing their job right. But that's where does that sound?
I think that's totally fair. Like, like these do feel like actors. It doesn't really feel like a real lived-in world. And it almost feels like play-y in a way.
Yeah.
Like the apartment feels kind of staged, and I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, there is a couple of creepy moments that I do kind of like.
I'll give it that. Yeah.
There's a couple of some of those awkward moments that I do kind of like. Honestly, for me, some of the awkward, weird, tense moments where it was just kind of like social awkwardness, I think it was maybe some of the best stuff in the movie because it actually provoked a response out of me. Whereas a lot of the like everything with like her like wanting to leave the guy because he won't leave his wife, like all of that stuff, I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't care. This is all just fodder so that there's a character here to probably be killed later on in the movie. Like that was like my feeling immediately, and to try and give it some drama. And there is some thematic stuff in there technically, but like it's very loose. And the flashbacks to Shelley's past are very shock value.
Yeah.
There's a moment when you realize what's happening in her past where I went, oh, that's what this is. Okay, you nasty movie. You nasty.
Yeah. Yeah, I was once you kind of find out what happened to her, I was like, Jesus Christ, like this movie did not need to go there.
Yeah, no, all sorts of weird implications. I think and I think that the last thing I'd say about it in terms of, you know, spoiler free stuff is that the ending is kind of really sudden, and I kind of went, oh, that was it. Like I was actually shocked when it cut to the credit. I was like, wait, what? That's the ending? That's where we're leaving this? Okay. It felt like it was a whole other like 10 minutes of scenes that were cut out of the movie at the end, which is fine. But I think the problem is that I think the reason what she's doing with the character in that scene at the ending, I feel like there's like one subtle like setup for it in a flashback early on, and that is it, to the point where I really had to think about what just happened in that final scene, and it wasn't like a super meaningful moment. So you know, that's what it is. And then the other thing I want to say is that the music at times was getting really too melodramatic. They had this piano come in, and it was doing this melodramatic kind of like, oh, very sad and somber. You know, feel sorry for everything. Blah, 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 blah. Do you like the movie, everyone? Do you like Alice? Do you like her? She's sad because she's with a married man. She feels like a stripper. Feel sorry for her so that you'll feel sorry for her when Shelley comes for her in the night and tries to do things to her. Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah, that whole relationship subplot was so stupid. Like, because I think you're right before when you're talking about how, like the acting wasn't great. Like there really is no chemistry before him. Like the Michael character feels so bland. It's kind of like, and you know, like Alice is like a very, you know, like attractive, you know, like seems like a very successful woman. Like it's not like it seems like there'd be any conceivable reason why, you know, she couldn't find like a, you know, someone better for her. But because like the Michael guy kind of seems like a creep. It's like, why, like who cares about this guy? Yeah,
I mean, I'm willing to sort of go with that because all sorts of people get into relationships that are not good for them, and they think that that's just what they're trapped in and whatever. She is. I mean, she actually is a very, because she's a self-employed like not a
hairstylist.
Well, she does like the mud masks, and she does the you know,
beautician, I guess.
Beautician, yeah, that's maybe right. But she does that from home. She has clients who come over. That's like how she makes her living. So she's pretty like, independent and successful. Like, she doesn't even rely on an employer. So, you know, which is good. I mean, it makes her different to other movie characters. It's almost like a shame they didn't play with that more. The idea that, you know, she is on her own a lot. Like she invites people into her house. It's almost weird that the character that ends up stalking her isn't like one of her clients. It's the cleaning lady who, like, I thought they were going to like make a twist later on that she didn't really work for the building or something like that, and it never really did anything like that. I guess that's a male spoiler, I suppose. But I mean, like, you know, they don't do anything with it. Like I thought early on, I was thinking, oh, maybe she's not really supposed to be here, but nothing ever really came of that. It was just kind of okay, sure.
Yeah. Also, I think, no, I'll save it for spoilers just in case. I guess a very mild spoiler, but I'll save it.
Sure. We can do spoilers. I'm pretty much out of spoiler-free stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not a terrible. I want to emphasize though, it's not a terrible watch. Like I thought it was easy enough to get through.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I was interested enough in it that I did want to keep going along. I wanted to see what would happen, and like you said, there were a few creepy moments that I think it's at least sets it apart from something that's completely terrible or super boring. It's not like that. It's just it's just definitely not the best.
Yeah. So I think we will go into spoilers then. So full spoilers for the cleaning lady from this point on. So
the one of the things that I thought was kind of crazy is how she becomes the cleaning lady, because I don't know if I missed something, but like she was originally just there to like fix the like shower or the drain or whatever, right?
Yeah, so she's there to fix the drain, and Alice had said to her superintendent or landlord or whoever that she didn't want the person coming in when she wasn't there. She wants to be there to supervise whoever's in the house. So she comes home, and Shelley's there doing her thing, unclogging the drain, and she basically just says, "Hey, do you do any cleaning work?" And she's like, "We're not allowed to." She's like, "Well, I don't have to tell management. Like, I'll just pay you cash."
I just think that's so crazy though. Like if you need a clean, first of all, like that apartment or house or whatever, I guess it's technically an apartment, but like I don't know, it feels like a house. I don't know, but like
it's a big apartment.
Yeah, but it was like spotless. Like she definitely did not need a cleaning lady really. And then but if you are going to get one, like why would you not call a maid service or something? Like it's crazy to me that you would just ask someone that technically would be like the equivalent of like a plumber or a maintenance worker or something to be like, hey, can you also clean?
Yeah. Also, it's she offers $100 per day. Like, and like, how long is this cleaning session going to be? Like, did she have her there from like, like 10 a.m. all the way to like 6 p.m. Like what? Like
yeah,
like is it? Because I wasn't sure if this was like far too much or far too little. I was like, if she's only coming in for a couple hours to clean, $100 seems like a lot. if she's there like all day, then maybe it's a little bit too little. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not important in the overall scheme of the movie, but I just sort of felt like 100. That seems a bit high. But then, I was like, wait, no, if she's there all day and it's like a full day's work, then maybe it's not too high. Maybe it's actually too little because a full day's wage should be more than that. I don't know.
Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah. It's very odd. So she kind of like tries to be nice to her. Alice is like, oh, hey, do you want to stay for dinner? And she kind of does that because she's trying to stay away from the boyfriend. And she's like, no, you be here so I'm not alone, kind of thing. And she makes her dinner and is like, would you like to watch some TV? And we actually like cut to a scene where she's falling asleep on the couch and like Shelley's like still sitting there awake and starts like touching her leg. And I'm like, yeah, okay, all right, creepy stuff. All right, she's got an obsession. And she even like tries to drive her home because it's like past the time the buses are running.
Yeah, but the stuff that like drives me crazy is like all these things that like Alice is doing. Like, okay, yeah, it is very nice to like invite someone over for dinner and everything, but like, do you have to make it like a romantic candlelit dinner? Like everything like seemed like so intimate, and it's like like if you just want to be friends with someone, you'd be like, hey, you want to like order pizza, maybe like chill out for a bit, like totally fine. But like the way she does everything, it's like it seems like you're setting up for this person to be obsessed with you.
I'm glad you're mentioning the nature of this dinner. Now I can argue a lot of it with saying that Alice is just that type of person. She likes to like sort of do up the dinner table. I expect Alice does this when she's on her own. She likes to light a candle. She likes to have nice things around her, right? So she's just that sort of person. I'll accept that. The line that made me do a double take was that they're finished dinner and she says to her, and now for the best part of any meal, Turkish coffee. What?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah, what the hell is this shit?
What? You have this with every meal? Or at least every dinner? Like, what?
I absolutely abhor coffee. I hate it. I can't stand it. I don't know what the difference between Turkish coffee is. I'm assuming it's some type of fancy.
I assume it's just a mild flavor difference.
Yeah, that is crazy. That it's like
you get different like coffee beans that are different flavors. I assume it's just like that, where they're all coffee, but they've got like a slight tinge of something to them. I don't know.
And the one thing I will give Alice a little bit credit with, because I was worried that the movie was going to be like a little classist, where it's going to be like, oh, like, the working class person, of course, is crazy and obsessive and blah, blah, blah. And the, rich person is going to be all snooty and stuff. But, I did admire that she was, treating the working class person as an equal, and inviting them to dinner and engaging them in conversation and treating them like a human being. So, again, like she was probably being too nice because there were a lot of warning signs that this person was super weird. But I do want to give props to Alice though for that, at least.
A few red flags. Yeah, I never felt like it was doing anything with a class thing. It was more just that she was just disturbed. The fact that she was, the position she was in had nothing to do with like why she is the way she is, I suppose.
Yeah.
Why she is the way she is, I guess this is where we're going to talk about the flashbacks.
It's problematic in its own sense.
Which starts, I think it's the scene because after this, Alice says, "Oh, you don't wear makeup ever? You don't know how? How about next time you come over to clean, I'll show you how to do some makeup after." And she has this scene where she's like staring at the mirror. She's got some makeup on. It's kind of covering some of the scarring. And she's it has this flashback, and we meet in the flashback her mother, who's applying makeup to her, and
when she's very young.
When she's like maybe 12,
maybe
something like that, maybe a little bit younger, and she's like, oh, when you grow up you're gonna meet a nice man, he's gonna be loyal, not like your father. And she's because we know that Shelley doesn't like smoking, and then we see her mother smoking, so it's like, okay, right, so we're going to have this like this she hates her mother somehow, and that's why she hates that so much. But she basically, a guy comes over and like whips out a wad of cash and is giving it to the mother, and then the mother leads them upstairs and she offers him a cupcake. Like, that's like part of the entry here, is that she offers him a cupcake, and then she really leads them up to Shelley's bedroom, opens the door and says, "I'll come back and get you at like 7."
Yeah. See, at first, like when the person's coming in and like taking out money and stuff, I thought like, oh, is like the mother a like a sex worker or whatever, but then once she starts leading her to Shelley's room, it's like, oh no I don't like where this is going.
She's pimping her daughter out. That's what's happening, against her will,
because she doesn't want to work at the fertilizer factory.
Because she doesn't work at that's like
a weird detail where it's like at some point
that's a really dark dark joke there, right? She doesn't want to work at a fertilizer factory.
Yeah, it's like you could get other jobs, but okay.
Fertilize. I just want to focus on that word there for a second. Fertilize. So that's super dark, and then the next time we get a flashback like this, there's another guy comes in and he's starting to take his clothes off, but then we hear screaming, and Shelley has bit him, and he punches the mum in the gut and takes his money back. I ain't paying for this. And when he's in the kitchen trying to rinse his like finger that's been bitten, young Shelley comes up and stabs him like 5 times in the leg, and then this is how she actually gets scarred, because he grabs the pot of boiling water and throws it in her face. That's how that happens.
So the one credit I will give this movie is it is pretty brutal. Like when they don't shy away from showing like some of the gore and stuff, and like the stabbings, and like there's definitely several scenes in this where I was kind of wincing a little bit, like going like, ooh.
There's not a ton of it, but but when it does come up, it doesn't remotely shy away from it. I like the stabbing here. Like, that's a weird thing to say, but like it was really quick and visceral, and it felt kind of, and it was like a weird part. It was like the side of the leg. It was like a really weird place. This is a weird thing I have, but I actually really love it when movies or TV shows where someone gets injured in a place that's not normal, because I feel like so many like movies and TV shows have characters, they always get shot in the chest or the head, or they always get stabbed here or there. So I always love when someone gets like stabbed in the side of a leg, or maybe even like the side of a stomach, or like just some sort of weird place that feels random, and like just like that's where the opportunity was. In this case, it's just how tall Shelley is at the time. Yeah. But again, creepy as shit. And then the final flashback, Shelley kills her mother because her mother's about to cut her tongue off. She's got scissors to her tongue, and then eventually Shelley stabs on the back with those scissors.
Well, I don't know. I didn't think she killed her though, because she has her locked up.
You're right. I misspoke. You're right. She doesn't kill her. She stabs her, presumably cuts off her tongue, because we see at the start and the end of the movie that she has her mother chained up in a container and she feeds her blended rats.
Yes. Oh, I already hate rats, and then seeing them blended together. But yeah, it's and I thought that was like a legitimately kind of creepy shot when you first see her going in there, and you kind of see, you don't know it's her mother at first, but you just see she has someone like, chained up. I think kind of crawling around.
I think the natural red herring here is we're supposed to think that maybe this is what she wants to do to Alice. This is a victim that she has. But it turns out it's actually a personal sort of thing with her mother. And then what she wants to do with Alice is a little bit different, because we have, it gets a little bit creepier where she shows up and says, yeah.
And I kind of alluded to this a little bit earlier though, but this is one of my problems is I don't know if there's really a clear... I mean, let me know what you think, but I thought it wasn't really clear exactly what she wanted to do. Because, like, part of it feels like she wants to become Alice. Part of it feels like she wants to make her life better. Part of it feels like she wants to keep her and, treat her like a doll.
Well, let's work through it then. Let's go through the sequence of events here. So she comes over more randomly one morning and says, "You want to watch TV? I thought we could watch TV together." Like, just out of nowhere. And Alice is like, "Oh, that's sweet, but I've got stuff to do today." Maybe could have called or something. And she does let her in to make her tea, but that's about it. And it's kind of awkward.
Yeah, she keeps saying tea will make you feel better. Yeah. She's like, I don't want any tea. And then she just waits a long pause. Tea will make you feel better. Like, again, red flag. Come on.
Yeah, red flag. Yes. Yeah. But she actually like chloroforms her when she's asleep, so she won't wake up. And she pours like stuff over her face. Turns out to be a mold. She's making a mold of her face, so she can make a mask of her face, which she then wears and looks at herself in the mirror. So that's where does she want to become Alice? Creepy stuff, because she also wears like her necklace, her beads, and she wears like her earrings, and it's like she wants to become Alice. And then, as the movie goes on, of course, she when she realizes that Alice is actually caved and is going to be together with her boyfriend again, she chloroforms her again, and then texts the boyfriend to come over, which he does. And at this point, we've seen the wife a couple of times, who's kind of starting to suspect things and goes to follow him. And she chloroforms him, injects him with she chloroforms him, but she also injects him with stuff after that.
And she like attacks him, like, she jumps on him, and
and she's apparently a strong little lady, because she actually gets both of them back to her place in the middle of the woods, where she has them, and she has like a knife sort of strapped into Alice's hands, and she's gagged and all that, and she's like, "You have to finish this for yourself," and she's got her she wants her to stab Michael, the boyfriend, who is again gagged himself. They're both tied up, they can't really do anything. She has enough, she can motion down the way with a knife, but she can't really do anything else. And when she refuses to, Alice pulls out some sulfuric acid and is like, "Well, I'm going to start pouring it on him, and he is going to die really slowly and painfully if you don't end his suffering." And she pours it on his legs. It's really brutal looking, and then she pours it on his crotch, which thankfully they don't show you too much. Although you do kind of, there is one bird's eye shot where you can kind of see that it's melted through the underwear, and it's like you can kind of see some of his crotch. It was really nasty. And then she pours it in his mouth.
Oof.
Yeah. Nasty stuff.
Surprised it wouldn't kill you that fast. fast, or you'd at least pass out from pain or something.
I feel like once it was in his mouth, he's probably dying.
Yeah,
because I think he's probably surviving his legs, sure, but I feel like he's definitely dying fairly quickly once it's in his mouth, because he starts coughing up, he starts, everything.
Because then the whole point, it's like, yeah, he's dying anyway, but Shelley wants Alice to kill him to at least end his suffering, faster.
Yeah, so she's trying to make her out of some sense, like, yeah, it's almost like here she wants to help her, but the ending, of course, after that, there's like a little detour where the wife shows up and agrees to try and help her escape, even though she's like aware that you're the mistress, you're the one who's with my husband. There's an odd like detour scene where sorry.
Oh well, yeah. I think I was going to mention what you're getting at. This weird thing with this like truck driver.
Yeah, her car breaks down. The wife's car breaks down, and she has to like signal down someone to help her. And this weird old religious guy is like, the Almighty's played a fast one on you. I'll get you some gas. I'll come back. And he comes back, and we have this weird thing where she's kind of weirded out by him a little bit, even though he's actually relatively sweet, despite the fact that he says a couple of weird things.
I mean, because it's like a horror movie and everything, like, I did think, like, all right, is this guy going to be a creep? Is he going to make a move on her or something? But he actually ends up being, like, just, like, a really sweet, nice guy. But it's totally pointless. Like, there really is no need for it in the movie.
It's just a stall tactic to keep her from getting to the house until the right time. That's basically all it is. And then when she gets there, she agrees to untie Alice, and they're almost out the door when Shelley shows up with a shovel and beats her to death. So, and Alice almost gets away. She gets to the car. She's got keys out, but then she gets injected, and we end the movie, because we're actually at the final scene of the movie at this point, where she's in like a bedroom that's been made up, kind of like Shelley's like bedroom when she was a kid, and she tries to get up. She's got makeup on. Shelley's like done her up and has dressed her the way she wants her. She's got her in this room, and she gets up and she's chained to the bed. And then the movie ends when she realizes she's looking at Shelley. Shelley's like in the window looking at her, and the music just goes. It's like there's a music sting, and then it cuts to credits. And the only setup for this is that in one of the flashbacks early on, Shelley has a dollhouse and seems to care about her dollhouse. So I think the ending here is supposed to be that she's got now her life-size like dollhouse, and this is like Alice is her doll,
right,
kind of thing. But the setup for that is so thin. Like I really went, wait, that's the ending?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Like I feel like they really need to, I don't know, hammer that a little bit more. And again, especially like it just seems confusing earlier in the movie to have these other kind of things that makes it seem like, oh, this is her motive. Oh wait, no, I guess this is it. And I kept waiting for like, there to be whatchamacallit, for like Alice to do something that would make her snap. Like, like you kind of keep thinking that the story is going to be like, oh, she's going to think they're great friends, and then eventually Alice is going to feel like suffocated and be like, hey, listen, we can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. And then that's going to make her go like crazy. But there really isn't anything like this. Like Alice is very, very nice throughout the whole movie, which, makes it like a lot more tragic, what happens. I mean, I guess props for the movie not kind of going the expected route, but it does I don't feel a little weird.
Yeah, it somehow managed to make the character of Alice, like she is always friendly to her, so it makes her at least not like a hated character, but she's also really dull. Like everything with the boyfriend, totally, all that stuff is really dull and kind of uninteresting, which is a really conflicting kind of feeling there. But she's also not painfully bad to watch either, or painfully hard to watch, because
sure. Yeah.
Well, the acting from her's not that great. She's not like mind-numbingly bad, but at the same time, she's not funny bad either. And funny bad might have been a little bit better.
Yeah,
like funny bad can be good. So it's a tough one. I don't want to be too hard on it because it feels like a fairly reasonable middle of the road film, but it's just there's not enough in it to really recommend it for me. That like it feels like it's going through a couple of different tropes. Like, okay, it's creepy when she wears the face mask of Alice, but like I feel like like I've kind of seen that before and other things. Like it feels like they don't do enough with it. And then likewise. Like, so here's something that I would have wanted in the movie. I feel like it's lacking like context, and this is, I think maybe this goes back to you saying that it feels like it's not a real lived-in world. Is like, can we see like who like employed her? Can we have like a scene with like her employer and her, and how she ended up working at the building, just to kind of establish like their relationship, just to say, okay, right, he clearly like he's sympathetic towards her maybe, or she's sympathetic towards her, and they hired her because okay, this is a job that you can do, and you know like, and what is their relationship? You know, are they bossy with her? Are they sympathetic to her? Like, just give me a little bit of that world building around the characters, just to, because as it is, it just feels like a magic trick that she's there, and then the plot starts and.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Which is partly why I was expecting a twist later on. I was like, no, she's not supposed to be in the building. She's snuck in and pretending to be the maintenance. You know, I thought we were doing something with that.
Yeah, or like something. Yeah, because when you first see her too, it's like weird. She's like, just holding like her hair from the drain and stuff. Like she easily could have been like a crazy person that just like went into her house when she wasn't home and just started grabbing these things. It's no, I mean, I think I'm on like a similar page. Like, it easily isn't the worst thing in the world. It was entertaining enough that you do want to watch and get through the whole thing. I just think maybe, I could have used a little bit more focus. Maybe just like define the character a little bit more, or like you said, maybe have more context to some of the things that she's doing. And honestly, I'd probably drop the whole like sexual abuse thing. I don't know, it kind of makes it seem a little weird. Well,
I think what they were doing there was like she's so invested in Alice like breaking away from this guy because she sees it as bad. She not in like a healthy, not in the way that everyone else does. We're really, oh well, I mean, he's a married man, maybe this is unhealthy. Like, no, she sees it as bad as like because she's making her think of her own sexual abuse kind of thing. I mean, that's that's fair. I mean, the SJW in me, of course, like, one of my first thoughts was like, all right, what is this saying about, sex abuse victims? Like, they're going to grow up to become, these crazy murderers and stuff. Like, obviously it's not what the film is intending, but it was something I thought of. Yeah. I don't know if it's really saying anything.
I don't think so.
I mean, if nothing else, all I can really say is like, if you are a monster to your child, they will grow up to be, you'll create a monster like in return, kind of thing.
Okay,
that's the only thing I can really glean from it.
Oh, sure, that's an interesting enough takeaway. Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of pulling that out of my ass, to be honest. Like, that's not, I don't really believe that they had this idea, but that's the best I can give you. I feel like it's just there to be a motivation for why she's such a crazy person, really.
Yeah. But then it's so weird though, because then it's just like, all right, well, I mean, I obviously don't want to root for her because Alice is a very nice person that doesn't deserve this, but I also feel bad for her backstory. So I don't. It's a kind of a weird. Yeah,
they're going for this. They're going for the sympathetic monster. That's kind of what they're going for with this. Which can work. I don't know if there's a great example of it. I'd love to actually in the comments, people, if you want to like give me your favorite sympathetic monster. Obviously, Frankenstein's monsters being the obvious one, but
that's the first thing that pops in my head.
Yeah. So no, I'm mixed on it. It's kind of middle of the road, which I guess indicates where we're going here with ratings. But Tim. What are you rating the cleaning lady? Take it to the cleaners, Tim. Take it to the cleaners.
I'm gonna give it a. Actually, we really don't see that much cleaning in it. I do think that's another problem. Like, you see her mopping the floor like once, but I don't know. I could have used a little bit more.
Do you know, Tim, there was a guy when I was in uni. There was a guy who criticized Drive. You know, the Ryan Gosling, Nicholas Winding Refn movie, which I love, by the way. I love that movie. He critiqued it for not having enough driving in it. That's what you sound like to me right now. There's not enough cleaning the cleaning lady. False advertising.
Well, your classmate sounds like a very smart man. So, it's also a nice indication of the type of people your school let in.
Shut
up. We have fun here. We're having fun. So I'm gonna give the movie.
Wait, was that
a 5 point?
Was that an impression of me in uni, or was that you saying this about now?
I guess it could be both.
Yeah. Damn you, Tim.
No, I don't want people to think I'm ripping you too hard. We're having fun. It's fun.
Alright.
We can make fun of each other because we're friends. Don't make fun of us in the comments if we don't know you, because that hurts. It's but I'm gonna give it a 5.5. Like you said, it is very middle of the road, but I'm gonna give it just that kind of that smidge above, just because it, I think it does maybe stand out a little bit more than other stuff, but yeah, it's still not over the top.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can't just want to give it a straight 5. I think that's where I land on it, and it's not the worst 5 in the world. It's definitely watchable enough, sure. But there's just enough of it that just feels a bit.
Listen, people, there are degrees of 5s. Okay,
there are degrees of 5s. There are every number I've ever given, there's degrees to each number.
Jeez,
but I can't quantify it by just going, we'll just do a 100-point scale. I'll do like 2 decimal places. I'm not doing that. That's too much.
Maybe we should start using a letter system.
A letter system? You want to give basically like schools. You want to do like A plus, A minus, B plus.
I want to do like A through Z.
A through Z?
Yeah.
Wait, so would this translate to about an N? Is that what this would translate to?
I was thinking like maybe an L.
Bit L.
L-ish.
L for loser.
For lady.
Oh, for lady.
Yeah. Lady, cleaning.
Lady, cleaning.
See, we have fun. It's fun.
Oh dear. I guess that wraps up the Cleaning Lady episode of Screams After Midnight. What a wild ride it's been. Thank you very much for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching scary movies, guys, and we will see you next time.